Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Remember the Ladies. On behalf of the, and I am not as good as him, so don't even think. On behalf of the City of Quincy and Remember the Ladies, we welcome you today to our award presentation. We are here today to honor the proud women whose dedication, service have strengthened our community. The nurses, professionals who work and touch the lives of thousands of students, family, and residents of every single day. I know firsthand, nurses are the first to respond to moments of needs, steady presence during challenging times, and trusted advocates who help keep our children and families healthy and safe. And thank you all for joining us as we celebrate these remarkable individuals. So at this time, it is my honor to present to you someone who cares very deeply about our city and the people who call it home. For many years, Tom, Mayor Koch, has worked to strengthen our neighborhoods, support our schools, and ensure Quincy continues to be a place where families can thrive. His commitment to public service is grounded in genuine love for his community. Now, I have never, ever, and been with my husband 6 years, I've never introduced him. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Thomas P. Koch.
Thank you, Christine, lovely First Lady. We met in Homeroom at North Quincy High School. So proud to be married to Christine, who is not only a wonderful wife, but an amazing mother and did a great job raising my 3 children as I embraced public service. So thank you, Christine, and thank you for your help today. As you can see in the flag, we're celebrating our 250th, the Declaration of Independence. 56 signers of that Declaration of Independence. It was the first time in the history of the world that every one of those revolutionaries had everything to lose. Most of those men were lawyers or farmers or did other things, but doing pretty well at the time. If we call them founding fathers, then I think we all agree that Abigail Adams was the founding mother of this nation. A remarkable woman, her husband John treated as an equal, and she truly advised him, counseled him throughout the process of forming this great new nation. So it's great to come together in honor of Abigail Adams, who walked the grounds in this great city that we love. I did want to acknowledge, are there any past recipients who are here today? Any past recipients in the back? All right, congratulations. Thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge a few colleagues in government here who are with us here today. I know we have City Council Walter Hubley. We have Kathy Hubley from the school committee, Courtney Perdios from the school committee, and Tina Cahill from the school committee. Thank you all very much for being here and joining us as we honor these wonderful ladies. Certainly as mayor, I'm also chairman of the school committee and deal day to day quite a bit with the superintendent of schools. I get several calls a day for him, and I usually cringe when he calls because it's usually something of a problem, but superintendent does a remarkable job. But uniquely, the school committee hires the superintendent, confirms the assistant superintendent, and we technically hire the nurses, the school committee. And I'm so proud of our nurses in so many ways. They come with us with great backgrounds, great resumes, but great concern for our kids. They show great compassion each and every day as they deal with a number of various issues. So personally, I want to say my thank you to each and every one of our awardees today. And at this time, it's my honor to bring up the superintendent of our schools, Superintendent Mulvey, who took over just when the COVID hit. Talk about, testing the metal, if you will. So Superintendent Mulvey leads the system, does a phenomenal job, another proud product of our Quincy Public School System. Superintendent Mulvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. How about another round of applause for our amazing mayor? Thank you. Thank you for everything you do for the Quincy Public Schools. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everyone here today. It is an honor to join you today at the Remember the Ladies celebration here in Quincy as we gather during Women's History Month to recognize leadership, service, and the enduring impact women have in our community. I want to thank the organizers of the Abigail Adams Award, in particular our First Lady, Christine Koch, for continuing a tradition that reflects the very best of Quincy, a city rooted in history, guided by purpose, and strengthened by those who serve others with quiet resolve. The award's namesake, Abigail Adams, once urged her husband to remember the ladies. Today, we do more than remember. We recognize, we honor, and we express our profound gratitude. It is my distinct privilege as superintendent of the Quincy Public Schools to be present today as we honor and recognize our extraordinary school nurses with the prestigious Abigail Adams Award. And as we celebrate the nurses of today, it is important that we also recognize those who paved the way. One such trailblazer is Grace Eng Toy, a prominent Chinese-American nurse from Quincy. She served our country as an Army nurse during World War II, and upon returning home, continued her legacy of service as the first Asian American hired as a nurse in the Quincy Public Schools. This happened at a time when barriers for women, and especially women of color, were significant. She broke through them with courage and determination. Her contributions to both military and public health service helped lay the foundation for the dedicated nursing community we honor today. Our nurses are the steady heartbeat of our schools. There's no doubt about that. They are the first responders to scraped knees and sudden fevers, to asthma attacks and allergic reactions, and to more serious medical needs. But their impact extends far beyond the walls of a health office. They are counselors when anxiety overwhelms. They are advocates when families need guidance. They are educators, teaching our students not only about physical health, but about resilience, self-care, and dignity. In moments of crisis, they are calm. In moments of uncertainty, they are clarity. In moments of fear, they are reassurance. Over the past several years, the role of the school nurse has evolved in profound ways. Our nurses have navigated public health challenges, shifting regulations, and the growing social-emotional needs of our students, and they did all this with professionalism and compassion. They have balanced clinical expertise with empathy. They have led with science and served with heart. What makes this recognition especially meaningful is that it celebrates women whose leadership is so often quiet but never small. Leadership is not only found at podiums or in headlines. It is found in daily acts of service, in meticulous record-keeping that keeps a child safe, in a phone call home that reassures a worried parent, in the extra few minutes spent with a student who simply needs to be seen. That is leadership, and that's what our nurses do day in and day out. The nurses of the Quincy Public Schools reflect the very spirit of this award. Like Abigail Adams, they understand that caring for a community requires both intellect and conviction. They advocate fiercely for the well-being of children. They collaborate with educators and families. They elevate the standard of care across our district. Most importantly, they remind us that health and learning are inseparable. A child who feels safe and supported is a child who's ready to learn. And because of our nurses, thousands of Quincy students walk into our classrooms each day better prepared to thrive. To our nurses, your work does not always seek recognition, but it profoundly deserves it. You represent the best of your profession and the best of our city. On behalf of the Quincy Public Schools, I offer my deepest gratitude to you, to your families who support your demanding work, and to the community that values and celebrates your contributions. Today, we proudly remember the ladies, and we proudly honor the women who every single day care for the children of Quincy with skill, strength, and unwavering compassion, standing on the shoulders of pioneers like Grace Eng Toy. Congratulations on receiving the 2026 Abigail Adams Award. This recognition is richly deserved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Mayor Koch. Okay, at this point in time, I would like to introduce Alexandra Elliott. She is the Executive Director of the Quincy Historical Society to speak of the history of the Abigail Adams and of Grace Ang Toy. And also, I'm just going to give a little push out here. Today, after our event, the Historical Society is having an event, and it's a fundraiser to help the animal shelter. So when we're done here, if you're looking for more entertainment, you can go right over at 3 o'clock. They're asking for a donation. It's $20 or $25, but they're going to have entertainment and another continuation of a great afternoon. So think about that. It's right at the Historic Society. But at this point, I would like Alexandra to come on up and join us, and she will continue with the program.
Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you to Mrs. Koch for the introduction, to the mayor, and to the event committee for the opportunity to give these remarks. And once again, thank you everyone for being in attendance, for answering Abigail Adams's call to remember the ladies. I am honored to be able to speak before you today, and I first want to extend my sincere thanks to all of the honorees present this afternoon. I hope that the ceremony conveys a measure of the immense gratitude that this community holds for each and every one of you. I am here to speak about two of the historic figures that we honor with today's ceremony. Separated by nearly 2 centuries of history, at first glance, Abigail Adams and Grace Toy do not appear to have very much in common. But consideration of their lives shows that they championed the same values. Values that I am proud to say that I see reflected in this community each and every day. Abigail Adams lived in a world where the profession of nursing did not yet exist. Healthcare in the 18th century remained resolutely primitive, despite the great philosophical leaps being made by the intellectuals of the Enlightenment. Meanwhile, disease remained a constant threat, and the responsibility of medical care fell largely to women within the home. Abigail herself saw her family through at least 3 epidemics in her lifetime, of smallpox, of dysentery, and of yellow fever, not to mention the standard cycles of seasonal illnesses. From Adams's letters, we have a window into the intimate moments of illness within a family, and Abigail frequently reflects on the harrowing decisions that she needed to make for her family while John was away. Notably, Abigail chose to inoculate herself and her children against smallpox in 1776, a process which required up to a month's quarantine to prevent the spread of disease. And the act of simply caring for one's own family was not without danger. Adams's mother, Elizabeth Quincy Smith, tragically passed away while caring for her daughter and grandchildren during the dysentery epidemic of 1776. In these episodes, we see Abigail Adams embody the values that are essential to good public health: decisiveness, resilience, and communal solidarity. This tradition of care finds a clear continuation in the life of Grace Ang Toy, a lifelong Quincy resident, a veteran of the Second World War, and a trailblazer as the first Asian American nurse within the Quincy Public Schools. Born in 1919, Grace Ang grew up with a large family, helping at her father's restaurant and learning early the value of responsibility and service to others. She carried those lessons into her training as a nurse after she graduated from Quincy High School. When the United States entered World War II, Grace answered the call to serve. Despite her father's concerns about going overseas, she simply responded, "Well, but they need me." That sense of obligation towards the common good echoes across generations, linking her directly to the spirit of Abigail Adams, who consistently urged her children to give back to their community however they could. Grace's personal life also recalls the partnership of John and Abigail Adams. After a brief courtship with Lieutenant Alfred Toy, Grace was married, and the couple spent much of the war apart, but they maintained their relationship through letters. Across distance and across uncertainty that came with the wartime, their connection endured. After the war, the Toys returned to Quincy and started a family, and Grace continued to serve as a nurse within the community. For nearly 2 decades at Quincy Public Schools, she cared for Quincy students, not only tending to their physical health, but also guiding them and supporting them. Seen in this light, Grace Toy's life is exemplary of a wider narrative. From the households of the 18th century to the hospitals and schools of the 20th, nursing has always depended on individuals willing to take responsibility for others. Abigail Adams represented an early expression of that role. Grace Toy represents its modern form. It is fitting that Grace is honored here today in this community that she served so faithfully and loved so well. Thank you all.
At this time, I will ask Mayor Koch, Superintendent Mulvey, and Andrea Hewer to come on up. And I will ask members of the Toy family. So this is Grace's son, Christopher Toy, and her daughter, Kathy Toy Malloy. And they are here to receive the award in honor of their mom. And at this time, Kathy will be speaking in honor of her mom.
Thank you so much. We're so appreciative and touched and blessed to be honored this way for our mother. I just want to share a little bit with you, Mom, which Grace Toy. She, it was a whole different time when she grew up. It was, back then, there was 9 kids in the family. She had 4 brothers, 4 sisters. They spent their entire childhood running back to the restaurant to help out. Their father was one of the first Chinese restaurants in Quincy. And you've got to understand, at that time, there was, I think, 2 families, as she puts it, the Wongs and the Engs. That was the entire Chinese population, so it was just a totally different time. And at the age of 16, she knew she wanted to be a nurse. She graduated from Quincy High School, and she knew in high school that she wanted to be a nurse. She wanted to serve. And I think that's just such a special thing. She actually wanted to go into the Army and really help out, but she was too young. So she went to nursing school. She went to, it really wasn't school, it was the Mass Memorial University of Nursing. And she says that what they did was they spent their entire time learning about nursing, but at night they were on call to help with emergencies. So they did quite a bit of nursing, and when she got out of that, she graduated, she went right to Quincy Hospital. And she spent her first years learning a little bit about Quincy Hospital, and when the war was going on, she was one of the first nurses to enlist. So I think that the call for service was just so great with her, and I think that that would be the same for all of you. We're really proud that you are Quincy Public Nurses. I know I had the honor of having my mom be a nurse when I was in high school. I graduated from Quincy High also. Mom graduated in '36 and I graduated in '75, so quite a long time ago. But again, it was just an honor to have her. I think she thought of all the kids as her kids, her children, and she just loved to work with them. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much. At this time, I am going to ask you to take a look up behind me. We're going to present a little video from our nurses, and then we're going to move on to honoring our second honoree here, Andrea Hewer. So if you'd like to take a moment, we're going to show you a quick little video.
Nurses are a bridge from education into healthcare and back. So what we do daily is really connect students and families to healthcare if they need it. We make sure their immunizations are up to date. If there's any kind of chronic illness, we make sure that if we have to adapt, we adapt to help them access all their education. So nurses do a lot with education. We also offer classes on nutrition, dental health. We do growth and development education in 5th grade area. Gosh, today what we did, we taught 8th graders Matter of Heart. We call it Matter of Heart because we're teaching them all CPR. So every 8th grader in Quincy Public Schools is taught during a 1-week period during the school year. And we teach them adult CPR, adult choking, infant CPR, infant choking, and the use of an AED. So many years ago, we didn't even know there were school nurses in the building. I know when I went to school, you had to wait. If you needed a Band-Aid, a teacher gave you a Band-Aid. now, fast forward today, where some of our high schools are seeing 120 kids a day. Some of our middle schools, elementary, 60, 70 kids a day. It's a constant movement of students that need something. Might not always be medical, but as nurses, we're there to serve them and help them get what they need. We have lots of students with diabetes who need blood sugar controls during the day, students with seizures. We have students who are suctioned from a tracheostomy or they're catheterized because they, need some adaptation for their life to be able to function. These kiddos are our future, so it's really important to make an impact. So once a month, we try to have a staff meeting with all the nurses, and what we do is not only talk about the paperwork side of what we need to get done, but how we can help each other. We're all working alone in an office, so when you come together monthly, there's a lot of camaraderie, there's a lot of trading off of stories and how would you have handled this, and we're all experts in different areas of nursing, and we're able to tap into that. I have a staff of about 30 nurses, and each one of them is special in their own way, and I try to let them know that they are valued and special. They're going to do a better job taking care of our kiddos. And that's the bottom line, is making sure our kiddos get what they need.
It's very rewarding. I like the sense of community. I do it because I love the kids. I really do. And I like all ages. I especially, though, like the little ones.
What's rewarding about being a school nurse is seeing the difference every day with the students and seeing them grow throughout the years and the change that you can make for them.
I work as a one-to-one nurse, and I feel like being one-on-one with one student, I get to truly help her in ways that I wouldn't be able to help in a group setting, and I feel like I'm making a difference in her life, but not only her life, her family's life.
Well, growing up, I either wanted to be a teacher or a nurse, just because my mom's a kindergarten teacher here in Quincy, actually, at Wollaston. So once I started substituting, I just found the job, and here I am now.
I think one of the most rewarding parts is to be able to be that one person for that student that might need a little extra something.
I love to teach, I love children, and I love healthcare. And this is the best place to do all three.
I really enjoy working with the community and making those personal connections with the students and really feeling like I'm making a difference. It's much different than a hospital setting. I feel like it's more personalized, more one-on-one.
There is not a better group to work with.
I agree.
I think what I love most about this job and in this district is the difference that you make. My school is probably medium-sized, but the way you collaborate with, guidance, adjustment, principals, administration, with Andrea, to make a difference that you can see in the lives of the kids and the families.
I'm going to have to say the most rewarding aspect of this is just making the students, the staff, and even the family members feel like we make a difference in the students' lives, that we were there in a time when they needed us.
So this year, being chosen as a staff to be honored and presented with Remember the Ladies, it is so special to us as nurses, but none of us do this for the recognition. We do this because we serve from our heart, not for the recognition. And so it's definitely a blessing to get this recognition.
That video says a lot about how our nurses feel and how hard they work. But working in a nurse's office like I do, it's an amazing job. And we have a lot of laughs, but it's also a very serious place to work. And so I said to these nurses today, being the first lady, and I know I'm going to get killed for this, I would always advocate for them. So in the goodness of budget time coming along, that possibly something could come their way, as well as the nursing budget could be helped out a little bit too, because I don't think people understand. We are given a budget, and it's very generous, and we do appreciate that. But, and a big but, a lot of it comes out of the office, nurses' pockets. And so Just putting that out there. But we do a lot of different things, as the video said, in our office. And Paula and Tara can attest to this, just a funny little thing from yesterday. The boys in high school tend to feel that if they wear 40 gallons of aftershave cologne, that they're going to get a girlfriend. So yesterday's lesson from our office was how to apply cologne. So we literally were showing the boys how to apply cologne when they came to the office. Now, they have an education, as you could see by their credentials, way above and beyond. And that's what yesterday's lesson was out of North Quincy High School's nurse's office, was how to spray cologne and walk through it, not take a bath in it. So there is a lot of fun things, and we have wonderful stories. We never discuss children's names, just so you all know that. But there's a lot of good things going on in these schools, and these nurses are a huge part of it. And so that's why they were chosen today for this award. But having said that, now my honor to introduce Andrea. And it's a pleasure to highlight a nurse and a leader whose career spans more than 30 years of dedicated service. Andrea Hewer is a registered nurse, a graduate of North Quincy High School, yay, hey, go Raiders, and has earned her Bachelor's of Science from the University of Massachusetts in Boston. She has proven to be a pediatric geriatric and an adult population and serves throughout her career. Andrea transitioned into school health in 1999, joined in Quincy Public Schools as a substitute nurse, and in 2000 accepted a full-time position after the school committee placed a nurse in every school. She earned her Master's of Education in School of Nursing from Cambridge College in 2002. From 2011 to 2018, Andrea served as school nurse and a lead nurse in the large Texas district, expanding her leadership and administrative experiences before returning to Quincy Public Schools in 2018 at Snug Harbor Community School. After that time, she was appointed to Coordinator of Health Services in 2022. And in 2025 became our Director of Nursing. School nursing is Andrea's passion. She works tirelessly to ensure consistent nursing coverage, which is not an easy task, as we all know, promotes wellness, supports students, staff, and families. Her leadership strengthens the entire school nursing program in our city. And Andrea meets with nurses from all over the state monthly to make sure that we, our staff, are up to date on whatever is happening. New policies, I think we're allowed to use that word, isn't that what we do, policies? Protocols, I always mess that up. New protocols, and these nurses learn this, and we are right on top with all of the others in the state of Massachusetts. So it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you the best, Andrea Hewer.
So, good afternoon. It is a profound honor to stand before you and accept this award, recognizing the dedication of our QPS nurses to their school communities. To be associated with this work and with the people who carry it forward each day is something I hold with deep gratitude and respect. When most people think of a school nurse, they think about basics, ice packs, bandages, maybe a quiet place to rest. And those moments, they do matter, but they're only the surface of something much deeper. Because behind every visit to the health office, there is a story. You've heard one so far today. So this is the student who comes in with a stomach ache that might really be anxiety, the child managing a chronic condition, and they just want to feel like everyone else. The moment when a nurse notices something subtle, a change, a pattern, a look, and we understand that something more is going on. And in those moments, school nurses do what they've always done. They pause, they listen, and they care. What makes this care even more remarkable is the depth of experience behind it. These staff nurses we honor today, on average, have 20.4 years of nursing experience in their roles. And that is not just a number. It represents decades of clinical knowledge, critical thinking, and compassion in action. It represents thousands of decisions made, countless students cared for, and an extraordinary level of expertise brought into our schools each and every day. This work exists within a long and powerful history, one deeply connected to women's history. Abigail Adams once urged her husband to remember the ladies as a new nation was being formed. She was asking for recognition, for voices that were too often unheard, and contributions that were too often overlooked. That call still resonates today because for generations, nursing has been shaped by women who step forward to care for others, often without that recognition and without a voice at the table, but always with extraordinary strength and commitment. They built systems of care where none existed. They advocated for safety, dignity, and humanity. They turned compassion into action again and again. And in many ways, school nurses today carry that legacy forward. They are the first responders in moments of crisis, making the critical decisions when seconds matter. They manage complex health needs, ensuring students with conditions like asthma, diabetes, seizures, cancer, severe allergies, just to name a few, can learn safely each day. They provide mental health support, offering a safe and trusted space for students who may not have one anywhere else. They teach their students, their staff, and their families about medication practices, proper hand washing, illness prevention, nutrition, and dental health, just to touch on a few things that we teach in our health offices. This month, as you saw, we partnered with Brewster Ambulance and we taught every 8th grade student in the city hands-only CPR during our Matter of Heart initiative. And at one of the schools, a young lady came up to me and she said, "Last year my brother learned how to do that and he saved my baby sister from choking." And that just underscores why we do what we do. These nurses are also advocates. They continue the call to remember the ladies by speaking up for those who are often unheard. And like so many women throughout history, much of their work is happening quietly. It is the careful monitoring, the detailed follow-up, the coordination with families and providers. It is the emotional labor of comforting a frightened child or supporting a struggling family. It is the ability to move from the crisis to calm, from urgency to reassurance, with professionalism and grace, sometimes dozens of times in a day. In fact, on most days, our nurses are seeing anywhere from over 40 to 100 visits in their health offices. Last year, they had 123,744 documented visits in 180 school days. So I'm going to say that again. 123,744 documented visits in the 180 school days. So this is work that doesn't always make the headlines. It doesn't always receive recognition, but it shapes lives in lasting and meaningful ways. And that is why moments like this matter. Because taking the time to recognize school nurses is, in its own way, answering that call and ensuring that the essential work is seen, valued, and honored. Because school nurses are part of that story. They represent a legacy of care that is both historical and deeply present, a legacy of showing up, of paying attention, of believing that every individual matters. And they do this work in the face of real challenges, limited resources, increasing student needs, and the responsibility of caring for entire school communities, often as the only healthcare provider on campus. Yet, they still show up. They show up with compassion, they show up with expertise, they show up with an unwavering commitment to the well-being of every student in their care. The impact of that dedication cannot be measured in charts or reports. It lives in the student who feels safe enough to return to class.
in the child who feels seen and understood, in the family who knows there is someone at school they can trust, and in the quiet confidence that grows when a young person knows someone is looking out for them. Healthy students are better able to learn. Supported students are more likely to thrive, and strong communities are built on the foundation of people who care deeply and act on that care every single day. School nurses are that foundation. So today, as we accept this recognition, we do so not only in appreciation of the work being done today, but in honor of the generations of women like Grace Angtoy, like Abigail Adams, who called for recognition, and those who continue to carry the legacy forward with skill, dedication, and heart. Thank you for your experience, for those 20 years on average that represent a lifetime of learning and caring. Thank you for your resilience, your compassion, and your unwavering presence. Thank you for the unseen moments and the lasting impact you make every single day. Because long after those students forget the details of the lesson, like how to put on cologne, or the schedule of the day, they remember how they felt. And for so many, they will remember the nurse who made them feel safe enough to stay, strong enough to continue, and cared for enough to believe that they mattered. On behalf of our QPS nurses, we would like to thank you for recognizing our contribution to our amazing Quincy community.
It is our honor and pleasure to introduce to you the wonderful nurses of Quincy Public Schools that keep it all together for all of your children that may have gone through our system, coming through our system. I know my 3 children have gone through the system. I can tell you one of mine probably spent more time in the office than others. I know 2 of them probably avoided the office. But thank you. I thank the nurses. I work with Tara and Paula at North Quincy High School. I have worked with most of these nurses through the 9 years of being in the system. Andrea has been a phenomenal boss and a resource for me, as have the nurses. I can't thank them enough. So at this point in time, I would like to say thank you, and you will be called up to receive your well-deserved awards. So Andrea's going to do your names, because a lot of you have very difficult last names. And we will present you with your awards. And we're just going to ask you to stay up here on the stage at the time. Okay, guys?
Vanessa Ballone, school nurse at Parker Elementary. We can.
Can we just ask you to hold the applause till the end, just so we can hear each nurse's name? Thanks.
Okay. Danielle Bonzar, school nurse at Broad Meadows Middle School. Tara Brown, school nurse, North Quincy High School. Julianne Carey, specialized one-to-one nurse. Loren Catrambone, school nurse at Central Middle School. Deborah Cerrone, school nurse at Beechwood Knoll Elementary School. Caitlin Conneran, school nurse at Southwest Middle School. Mary Cross, school nurse at Snug Harbor Community School. Donna Dean, Central Registration School Nurse.
Congratulations.
Tess Doyle, School Nurse, Bernazani Elementary. Maureen Durgan, School Nurse at Atherton Howe. Molly Ehrlich, School Nurse at Marymount Elementary. Victoria Fallon, School Nurse at Clifford Marshall Elementary. Lindsay Gardner, School Nurse, Quincy High. Jennifer Golden, School Nurse at Atlantic Middle School. Sarah Hill, School Resource Nurse. Beth Jordan, School Nurse, Wollaston Elementary School. Josephine Marstapovich, School Nurse at Squanum Elementary School. Paula Melchin, School Nurse, North Quincy High School. Kaylin O'Dwyer, School Nurse at Montclair Elementary School. Sarah O'Keefe, Specialized One-to-One. Martina Ryan, School Nurse, Quincy High School. Rebecca Shea, School Nurse at the Rick DeCristofaro Learning Center. Laurie Sullivan, School Nurse at the Rick DeCristofaro Learning Center. Jocelyn Lally, Specialized One-to-One. I have a nurse who wasn't able to make it today, Miss Jennifer Toupé, School Nurse at Lincoln Hancock School. And then Kathy Taracco, School Nurse at Point Webster Middle School. Kathy is culminating her school years this year by retiring in June, and we will miss her.
Thank you, Chrissy. And I'll speak to the superintendent about those budget issues, see what we can do. No pressure, honey. I did want to acknowledge Frank Santora, former school committee member, and his wife, Linda, who's a former recipient, is with us today. A number of years ago, John McDonald approached me about doing an event to remember the ladies, and I want to thank John for bringing that idea forward. But as you know, I get to just show up, and so many people put it all together, do the work. So I don't know if we can bring the lights up, but those staff members who are here today with us, Lisa, Daniel, Danielle, Nicole, Helen, Karen, Julie, and Mark Carey on the video. Thank you so much. There is a beautiful tea and cookies being served in the cafeteria. Please join us. And whatever your faith tradition may be, tonight when you hit the pillow, I'd ask you to remember men and women serving in uniform. It's a difficult time right now across the world. Certainly pray for peace, but I know of several young men and women who are in harm's way who went through the Quincy Public Schools. So remember them in your prayers tonight. Enjoy the afternoon. Again, congratulations to our nurses.